What's up, everybody? Welcome to ITG Daily, the show that brings you the hottest in gaming news. I'm Drew Bosley. You can find me on Twitter at ArtisticGamer28, and that's the one, the only. It's Scott Savage. You can find him on Twitter at Savage. Scott, happy Friday, brother.
Yeah, another one's in the books, and
made it.
I'm forgetting the way you used to say it last time.
That's dude. It's been a busy week. Like, it's already come and gone. It's just like, wow, that was it's super busy, but it's been good because there's a lot on the go right now. By the time you see this, nope, can't do it. We'll talk about it next week. Until then, though, dude, you can always find us over at InsideTheGame.ca, podcast services and TV streaming networks around the globe. Coming up on today's episode, Tomb Raider could have been a horror game. Yep, didn't see that one coming. Batman Arkham Knight uses Google Stadia tech. And what are we going to do with the gaming library in February 2022? We're going to talk about that because, well, as we mentioned yesterday, dude, everything's getting bumped. And February is looking like it's going to be crazy. So.
Oh, yeah. Now, be prepared for, 9-day weeks of straight gaming.
That's right. Oh, man, it would just be nuts. Dude, coming up, and let's get going here because we got to talk about Square Enix's release of footage from a canceled Lara Croft game. Could have been a horror game. This comes from Wesley LeBlanc over at Game Informer. The company released footage as part of its 25th anniversary celebration, and in the roughly 7 minutes of footage, we see a grayed out character model that's clearly Lara Croft traversing through dark caves, marshes, spooky houses, and more, as reported by VGC. The footage is very obviously a prototype footage from early in the game's development, but it's fascinating look at what game it could have been taken over. But dude, this actually happens. Instead, they scrapped this entire game, didn't really like what it was, and rebooted the entire franchise series for Lara Croft.
It's really hard to argue against what they did create because holy, was that a good series. The whole trilogy is just packed with the reimagining. It's amazing. It's like what Uncharted is to so many people. That's how I feel about this Tomb Raider reboot. But yeah, to see it go in a horror direction, I really enjoy those kind of games, so I know that I would be interested in this. But you know, maybe they made the right call by diverting early. If it wasn't gonna work out, then it's better that it didn't see the light of day. Well,
that's just it, right? You're kind of at that stage of this is either going to work or it's not. And if it wasn't working, now is the time to get rid of it. Like, we've seen Laura just have so many different iterations since the inception of time when the game started to where it is now. And for them to veer off and go in a horror aspect really wouldn't be all that surprising, dude. They've got some creepy environments, some creepy world building in that game. But it's not really at the heart of what Tomb Raider is all about. So
no,
that's the other side of it. But to branch off, I know when you do certain games over and over and over, you're always looking to somehow reiterate and, you know, kind of bring fresh life to the game. And what do? Well, you're looking at the Tomb Raider horror side of things. And for me, luckily, it never happened.
Well, yeah, if it did work out really well, then it would have been something that you could miss. But if it didn't, you also could just ignore it. But no, I'm glad that effort, that resources went to the new trilogy. I think those are great games.
Absolutely. It was through Ascension that the team honed in on telling an original story through the lens of survival. Dude, that's so, you know, they did take pieces out of that experience though, and then bring it over into the 3-part trilogy that we got in the world of what happens now in the world of Tomb Raider. Honestly, you and I talked about this a while ago, the fact that it is the 25th anniversary and there is no new game. I'm kind of shocked.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing.
Yeah, especially after a really successful trilogy, you'd expect there to be some sort of announcement to keep it going, but the momentum just seems to still be lasting.
Well, it's going. The fandom is there, Scott, but is it enough to bring back Lara Croft, do you think?
Oh, it's really down to dollars. And I think those games sold well, but I really don't know what kind of relative wealth they found.
No, that's fair. I don't know if it's sold well enough, right? Like, that's the biggest thing. Everybody's got targets they got to hit, and whether or not it hit that target for them, I guess we'll find out if Square Enix moves forward with the world of Lara Croft and Tomb Raider. But dude, let's get into what's going on in the world of Arkham. This seems weird. Google now offering white label Stadia tech, starting with AT&T's free Arkham Knight demo. This comes from Kyle Bradshaw over at 9 to 5 Google. AT&T is working on Warner Brothers to offer a streaming version of Batman Arkham Knight, powered by Stadia's streaming technology. Dude, okay, this obviously comes on the fact that they're looking to branch out, they being Stadia, because they need to bring in other means of resources, entertainment, video games, because they no longer have Stadia games and entertainment. Their first party now is closed. We talked about how disappointing that was to find out that bit of news, but then they've lent their hand out to other people, other companies, for them to tap into the world of Stadia and their technology. Thanks to Warner Brothers and AT&T, this is from a quote, "We have our first example of Stadia acting as a behind-the-scenes provider for another service's game. Specifically, current AT&T wireless customers can stream Batman Arkham Knight directly from their Google Chrome or Microsoft Edge browser. Interestingly, despite this being an AT&T wireless promotion, gameplay is only available on desktop, laptop devices, not smartphones." And not Stadia, Scott. That's the other side of it, dude. It has nothing to do with Stadia. This is their opportunity to go, hey, you want more games? Then you can play this. Dude, we can't even play Batman right now over on Google Stadia.
It's like an exclusivity deal, but through the vehicle that is Stadia. It seems kind of strange to me. But how old of a title is Arkham Knight now?
Oh,
that's the other part of it, is what makes this super notable versus all of the other acquisitions that Stadia does advertise.
I'm looking up the release. Dude, it was 2015 the game released.
Oh, okay.
So that is still relatively old, right? Like we haven't seen a new Batman game in a while. That was Arkham Knight being the last one we saw all together, coming from Rocksteady. And they did tap in now, obviously, with one of the biggest IPs for Batman ever. One of the best games in the Batman franchises that I've ever played. Arkham Knight, not sure if it's my favorite. I still go back to Arkham Asylum being, I think, as my favorite, my go-to, just because it was more closed. They didn't. From there, they branched into Arkham City, then Arkham Knight, which then went into an open world aspect, which was still good, but not like Arkham Asylum, where it was more close quarters. You had open areas, but not an open world.
Yeah, the mistake that I made was playing Arkham City first.
Oh.
And I had all of the DLC available, so I started off playing as Catwoman.
Yeah.
Really cool idea, but it just didn't really sit right with me. I was used to Assassin's Creed at the time.
Gotcha. But yeah, dude, you can't. Here's the other side too. You ready for this? You can't hook up a Stadia controller to play the game either. It has to be some other means of a Bluetooth controller.
Oh, some other one, but using the same Bluetooth connection. Why not Stadia then?
This doesn't make any sense. I get it's an AT&T promotion. This is obviously out of the US more than anything else than us Canadians here. But at the same point, why wouldn't you then use this bit of advertising to bring awareness to your own platform?
Yeah, it's something they do often whenever they acquire things. So I don't know.
Absolutely. You want to be able to tie in and share that, hey, you know where else you can stream the rest of this other game or more games or other opportunities? Stadia. But they didn't even tie that in, man. You can't play it on Stadia whatsoever. This does question now whether or not we're going to get the Arkham library over on Google Stadia. Maybe there's a deal in the works there. We're starting to see more and more games make its way over. They've got to do something. I now often compare Stadia to the world of Steam. The fact that they really don't have any first party, but yet they still are one of the biggest platforms out there, because where do you get your PC games? A lot of people are going to Steam. There is Epic Games now. There is GOG. Like, there are other avenues of getting your PC titles on your computer, but the main source of Steam's revenue is all third-party content. Dude, when's the last time we got a first party? That was Half-Life Alyx, right? Like,
yeah.
So, and even not everybody can get into that because not everybody had VR. So there's that side of it too. Like, man, it just seems such like a weird transition for Stadia, Scott. And it kind of
seems like it's like a collaboration that they didn't want to do, but were contractually obligated to do. But I don't believe that is the case. It's just the way they're behaving about it. It seems kind of strange.
Very strange, but it's a tech demo you're going to be able to get into and at least try it out. But man, I don't know. It just seems like a weird move. All right, buddy. Are you ready for this one, Scott?
We talked about this yesterday, I believe.
We certainly did. Now we're going to talk about it now with the releases of everything we've been told this year and then getting bumped and moved into next year. Here comes the world of February 2022. What are we going to do? Because starting things off February 1st, Scott, will be Life is Strange. Let me just run down the list of games here that we're going to be into for the month of February. Life is Strange Remastered, Dying Light 2 Stay Human, Known by Heart, not even sure what that is, to be honest, Dynasty Warriors 9, Empires, The King of Fighters, Horizon Forbidden West, Destiny 2, The Witch Queen DLC, Monarch Sifu, which is another wicked game, Elden Ring, and Saints Row. Dude, the new one is Saints Row. Now, Saints Row just being mentioned, just being announced not too long ago. I wouldn't be surprised to see that one get pushed out of February altogether. See a delay there. Elden Ring, we saw a delay from January moving to February. We saw Horizon get pushed from this year to next year. Again, landing in the world of February. Again, like, dude, what are we gonna? How do you get to all these games? And these aren't like small games. Saints Row is gonna be a big game. Elden Ring, dude, is going to be a massive game. Sifu is a unique fighting style game, which looks awesome. Destiny 2, if you're into that, dude, that's huge. It's another huge piece of content. Horizon Forbidden West, obviously, is my go-to. Dying Light 2, they've been delayed. They just came out and announced the release date to then delay it again and then pushed out to February. Scott, what are you going to pick? If you had to pick 2 games for the month of February, what are you picking and what are you going to be playing here?
Oh, I would have to say, well, Elden Ring is a must. I appreciate the series, where it comes from. I like the R.R. Martin. I need to get into that one and know what it's about. But the one thing that's always going to last with me is really good zombie games. I have to think Dying Light 2 is going to be the one. And Dying Light, the first game, was incredibly impressive. So I have big hopes out of this one.
Right.
It's going to be hard to put, Halo Infinite down and Battlefield. And I feel like there's so many. Call of Duty I'll dabble in, but we're going through an age of just a huge amount of games.
Well, and the biggest problem is, Scott, take a look at half of these games. Open world. Which doesn't mean you're going to finish this in 8 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours, right? Sifu, I think, is the more smaller, condensed title. But if you take a look at Dying Light, massive open world, right? Dynasty Warriors is a little, like, that's going to be a lot of content there. Horizon, we know, is going to be huge. There's going to be so much content coming out of that. It is going to take forever to finish. Destiny 2 DLC, The Witch Queen, is going to be a hefty piece of content. Elden Ring and Saints Row, dude, they're all massive games. Like, the old days of playing a game and finishing it in 8 or 10 hours is so long gone. I just finished up a game for review just yesterday, and I was shocked at how long that took. It's a single player game, and I bet you I'm at least 25 hours in. And I was just like, man, it's single player. Like, those days of single player games are far and few between to find them under 20 hours now. And that's not necessarily bad.
It's hard to find a single player emphasized experience where it's not multiplayer with a single player tacked onto it.
Sure.
And when you get some of those good ones, Control is one that comes to mind. It was just all single player, completely focused. And holy, was that, it felt like it was 40 hours. I think it was 20, but it was forever and ever. It was awesome.
So, okay, now when you say it goes forever and ever, are you complaining that how long that goes? Or is it just one of the, like, did they, because I haven't played Control, so I've heard how good it is, but did they put filler into it to extend the length of the gameplay? Or do you think it was just enough?
I don't think there was. There were certain things that you could avoid, but you didn't have to. They were beneficial to get through, and there's a lot of mystery to items in that game. And
right.
So when you're getting through the storyline, it was totally good. The only reason I kind of was annoyed with it was that it had offered the ending many times. It looked like,
Uh,
hey, this is it. Oh, just kidding. Hey, here's the credits.
yeah,
Nope, nope, not done.
yeah. Yeah, I know that feeling. That's just, yeah. Like single player now is no longer that short experience. I'm honestly, I kind of miss those days of being able to dive in, finish a game, and then move on to the next one, because everything's gone to this whole like GTA scenario where it's all open world and you're there and they want you to stay there. And that's the other side of it too. When you get into some of these big games, is there's the games of service model too, where they want you to be in every day doing challenges, doing this, doing that, and focus. Don't leave our game. Don't leave our game. Do this, right? And this is where Destiny 2 comes in. The fact that the game is still going, it's years and years old now at this point, but yet they keep updating and bringing in more content. And for those who love Destiny, that's incredible, right? Sometimes you don't want to let go of these games, and that way it allows you to stay in here. But dude, Horizon Forbidden West is my pick easily. And then for me, I want that smaller little like indie experience, so I'm gonna go with Sifu. And then if I had to pick a third, probably being a Saints Row, because for the first time ever, Scott, Saints Row actually has me interested. I like that they've gone a little bit more grounded compared to where they've been in the past.
What I was thinking when I think of, new Saints Row, what planet is this one going to be on? But I like that they've kind of ratcheted it down.
Yeah, that's for sure. So we'll see what happens in the world of February. If you had to guess what games would be delayed again, what are you picking?
Oh, I'm really hoping not Elden Ring. We've seen some news to the contrary. I think that one's safe, but
yeah.
I'm not really certain. I'm fearful it would be Horizon, but
oh really?
They've already done a slight pushback already, so
yeah,
for that to happen again would be really a stretch. It's hard to say. I'm really hoping not Dying Light.
I think it will be Dying Light. Honestly, I think it will be Dying Light, because they're going to be outshone by the other ones. And if you are over at Techland, you're going, man, look at February now. We had February basically to ourselves. And then all of a sudden, if you take a look at the lineup now, you got Horizons in there. Oh, crap. Destiny 2's there. Okay. That's going to pull away some of our audience, maybe. Sifu's there. Elden Ring just landed there. Uh-oh. Like, you know what I mean? Uh-oh. Like, that's a huge get right there. And if you're into Dying Light 2, you're probably going to enjoy Elden Ring, I would think. And Saints Row's there. So, dude, like, there's major titles hitting in February that somebody's probably going to have to move. And I'm thinking if anybody's going to move, it'll be Dying Light 2. And I think it's probably best for Techland to get out of there and let them breathe. But again, we talked about it yesterday, the fact that when we used to hit the summertime, there'd be a lull of games. Then now there's just, look at us, like there is no lull. So how do you find that sweet spot? Because when Dying Light 1 launched, dude, there's like nothing around and it just took off and it was great, right? And I think that's what it kind of needs again. In this sense, fans have been waiting for it for a very long time, but they've got to come out swinging. And I think when you're overshadowed by Horizon, Elden Ring, Saints Row, you're going to lose some of that audience you would have gotten back again if you had that whole month to yourself, or at least the first half of the month, right? So
yeah, there's strategic reasons why they might defer it, even if it's not super software related.
No, for sure. For sure. Scott, dude, let's get working on the world of Xbox Game Pass. Subscribers growth slowed down this year. Xbox Game Pass subscriptions are up, but they could be more. This comes from Matt Kim over at IGN. In a new financial statement, Microsoft revealed that Xbox Game Pass subscriptions rose by 37.5%, falling short of their internal target of 47.8. Who picks? Here's our target. I want 47.8.
Not more than 0.9, not less than 0.7.
Right? In contrast, last year Microsoft overperformed on its target to growth Xbox Game Pass, increasing subscriptions by nearly 86% over a goal of 71. Dude, their goal was 71 and they got 86. Like, they're not doing bad in the world of Game Pass, let's be honest. What this means is that Microsoft's Xbox Game Pass subscriptions have slowed this past year, and it's likely a combination of factors. One of the key promises of Xbox Game Pass is the first-party titles will be available on the service day and date, So far in 2021, first-party titles have been regularly regulated mostly to Age of Empire remasters. Yeah, right? And Microsoft Flight Simulator and Psychonauts 2. That's the big swinging titles this year, Scott, until December, right? That's when things change. I think we probably get an influx then, I would say. Right?
I would bet money on that, really.
Yeah, new first-party titles like Age of Empires 4 and Halo Infinite are still months away and will deliver on Game Pass's promise of major first-party day-and-date releases. And Xbox Game Pass remains a key focus for Microsoft overall. Growing the service is a key performance metric for Microsoft executives, meaning hitting desired growth goals will result in bonuses for members of Microsoft's leadership team. That comes way of Axios. That's who reported on that little bit of tidbit information. Nice little bonus in there if you hit your target. You don't hit your target, sorry, you're not getting your $1,000 bonus.
You're not getting that in-ground pool this year.
You have to wait till next year, I guess. That's interesting to see. Microsoft, I know they want to grow. Obviously, Game Pass, we always talk about how fantastic we feel the service is, and that it's one of the staples, and we often wonder, where's PlayStation going to come in the world to match this service? And yet they're still not satisfied with a 37% increase over what their goal was, to 47.8.
Well, eventually the growth has to slow down, as every man and woman on Earth has a Game Pass. Well, there's not yet many places left to go.
Well, and then we just mentioned it yesterday too, the fact that Minecraft is coming to Game Pass. So I wonder about the influx of there. Maybe sales have started to taper off and people aren't buying Minecraft. It still makes the charts though. So that's it's still there, selling day in, day in. So it's curious to see how that's going to extend moving forward. But Game Pass is such a staple now, I think, within Microsoft's business model, that they're always looking to see how can we iterate and how can we move it forward. But you move it forward by getting your titles on there. And yeah, this year has been a little lackluster so far, but dude, coming up around the corner, like, we're getting Age of Empires 4, we're getting Halo Infinite, we're getting Forza Horizon 5. Like, we got big titles coming to end off the year. And then what do they have lined up for January, February? So far, dude, we go back to the quick list and you're looking at February, there's nothing there. Like, there's really nothing in that lineup. PlayStation's there, right? And then it's all third-party stuff. So what's coming to the table with the world of Xbox? We'll find out in the near future. But Scott, we're getting, like we always do, a little late in the show. So why don't we end it off with what games are out for today? And it's not a very good list.
Well, Riders Republic is free to access right now until the 27th.
That's awesome.
That's got to be the standout here of this list. Dude, other than
hang on one second. Did you see people complaining? So what's going on here with Riders Republic is that you get 4 hours of free time within the game, and after your 4 hours are up, you get to save your progress and then carry it over if you choose to get the game. People are whining about the 4 hours.
Oh man, how do you complain about something that's free and it seems to be good content free? This isn't just something that I'm not going to spend time on. 4 hours seems like quite enough to get in and test it. That's the longest demo I've ever heard of.
Dude, I'm looking forward to Rise Republic. I think it's going to be a blast with all of us hanging out and playing that game. But 4 hours is going to blow by in no time. And I guess maybe that's what they're hurt by. But dude, it's 4 hours of a demo. So if you like it, then pick it up and you get to save your progress and move on, which is fantastic. Otherwise, you don't like it, don't get it. Didn't hurt you anything to download the game.
You got to figure that out,
Right. Anyway, what else do we have up for today, Scott?
Well, this next one I know is definitely going to excite you. This is My Friend Peppa Pig.
Woohoo!
That is available on the Xbox and the Switch.
Yeah.
I wasn't aware they were still making content for Peppa Pig, but
Barely.
That will haunt me in my dreams. We also have Murder Diaries 2, and that is releasing on the Xbox today.
There we go. Scott, that is going to wrap up today's show. Everybody, thank you for hanging out with us. It is Friday, so that means you can have a great weekend. I'm Drew, that's Scott, and we'll see everybody back here on Monday inside the game.